this video I'm gonna talk about things I don't like about Australia. I have been living here for almost 6 years. I used to live in Sydney, in regional New South Wales, a small town called Dubbo. Now I live in Perth, Western Australia. And even though I really like this place, you can watch my previous video about all the advantages of Australia and why I love this country. But of course there is no ideal place in the world. And there are things that I didn't really like initially when I moved here. It's important to give a full picture and do not sugarcoat living in this country. First, there is no central heating in Australia, and I was surprised that in winter it is usually colder inside than outside. For example, it's winter morning, you lay in your bed, you wake up in the morning and you can't see your breath. For me, coming from Eastern Europe, where it's always warm inside whenever you go, it's something I had to get used to. Even though Australian winter is nothing like winter in Europe, but 16 degrees here and 16 degrees, for example, in Europe, two different things. Especially when 16 degrees is inside your house. Of course, this is not a problem when you have air conditioner. But first, electricity is quite expensive in Australia, so you wouldn't use it all the time. And second, most of the apartments we used to live in didn't have air conditioner, so you just have to live with it. So you use heaters, electric blankets, wear pajamas, and you just go through it. So the second thing that I don't really like is that it's really expensive here. Minimum wage is quite high in Australia compared to other countries, and consequently services are quite expensive here. Hairdresser, beautician, cleaner, plumber, electrician, babysitter, any other service you need to be done, prepare to pay quite a lot for that. When it comes to the goods, it's also quite pricey, and probably because of the distance from the rest of the world. If something is coming from USA or Europe, prepare to pay quite a lot compared to what you would pay if you would buy this in the USA. The other thing stemming from it's internet, which is ridiculously expensive compared to its quality and speed. Think about it. Australia has fallen to the 68 in a global ranking for internet speed, making it the 4th lowest country in the world according to the OECD rating. For an unlimited plan you will have to pay at least 80 Australian dollars, but again quality and speed will be very bad. Compared to Ukraine, for example, where I came from, where you can get 5 times better internet for under the $10. And of course the cost of real estate. Australia is in the top list of the most expensive housing in the world. If you live in a big Australian city, Sydney or Melbourne, prepare to pay around $1 million for an average house. So overall, it's quite an expensive place to live. The next thing is Australia is not only expensive to live in, but also travel to. Distance from the rest of the world makes the plane tickets ridiculously expensive. But also traveling within Australia is not cheaper. In pre-COVID world, it was cheaper to go to some Asian countries rather than flying to other Australian cities. So yeah, it's a bit frustrating that living in Australia you can't enjoy all the benefits of people who live in Europe, for example, who can travel on weekends to different countries. And the last thing that I had to get used to is that shops close very early, around 5 or 6 p.m. Yes, supermarkets are open usually till 9 p.m, but not everywhere and not on weekends, compared to Ukraine, where malls are open until 10 p.m. Same with hairdressers, dentists and other services. They usually work at least until 8 p.m. Living in Australia, I had to get used to this. You have to be more organized, plan your weekends, plan your trips to doctors. So despite all mentioned above, there are still more advantages and disadvantages. Otherwise I wouldn't live here. But all the things that I mentioned I found to be annoying during my first years in Australia. But again, I get used to it, I accept that, because there are so many things that I really love about this country. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed this video.